What's up, everybody? Beastie Mods here, coming at you with an IPS install. So here we have our Game Boy Advance SP motherboard sitting in a shell. A little bit of backstory here. I built this as my kind of prototype to try out modding and stuff. As you can see, I've got a headphone jack installed there. It's got wires going here and there. The problem, well, this has been like an ongoing list of problems that continue to form and build and everything. But the first problem that I had was with this IPS. Actually, that's not true. Hold that thought. The first problem I had was with this AGS 101 screen. And in there I have a new polarizing film. I did a bunch of, I'll call it uneducated and ignorant things attempting to play my Game Boy. So I ended up getting this guy off of AliExpress, and it is bright as a guy could ever desire. So I put tape all over the back here. I've got some double face tape holding the PCB to the back of the electrical tape, so when you order this it comes like that. There's my double face tape right there, so that holds it nice and secure and snug in place. This ribbon cable here, without that tape holding this PCB in place, what happens is you put it in your pocket and it slides to the bottom and it does something like that. Or maybe it'll do something like this, you know. Either way, what's going to happen is this line needs to be parallel to the brown clamp down piece here. So what was happening is this was sliding, so instead of being in there straight, it would be diagonal like that. I was losing connection. I ended up taking this thing apart like 3 or 4 times just to solve that one issue. So, you know, now I've got a permanent solution, double face tape holding it down, and I have a slice of tape holding the ribbon cable down there as well. So, this is a pretty decent quality. Like, I'm really happy with the quality of this screen. It far outreaches the old AGS 101. There's nothing wrong with these, but the technology is 20 years old. So, you know, what can I say? This was made in 2022. So that's the first problem. Solved that with some black tape, double face tape holding the board and this plug together. That's clamped down now. I also had a ribbon cable that just quit working on me, and this is kind of beat up and mangled. As again, you know, I did some ignorant things learning my way through this SP project. So that's junk. Later I'll probably make another video trying to troubleshoot which circuit failed. Maybe I can find a way to repair this. I know it's only $2 to get a new one, but some people really just don't have $2, or maybe their credit card's maxed out or whatever. But, you know, there's a million reasons why somebody might not buy something. So this, I was disappointed with it in that the display, the LCD itself on this lens, was positioned over this way, and if I recall, I think it was down. Anyways, there's like a shadow along here, and there's like a row of pixels that you don't see over here. So that's something that has made me take this out of my final form SP, which is this one here. So this guy here, all this is going to be a nice Christmas present for my son. He's not going to matter to him whether these are these little spots here. See, what I did is I tried to pry that LCD off the glass, and it didn't go well. It started to chip the glass in the back inside of the LCD, And I said, oh, this is a terrible idea. I'm going to stop myself and let this screen live to see another day. So, without further ado, let's get into things here. First, yes, maybe I should go into that. This is my what's left of my power switch. Now, that's not the real problem. The fact that the little tab is broken off and in there. This was giving me grief. Basically, what we had was I was trying to power on the Game Boy, and some days it would turn on no problem, and other days it would turn on for just a split second and shut itself off. And then other times it would turn on and it would shut itself off randomly. And then other times it would act like it had a super low battery. So, nonetheless, I was pretty frustrated about it. I was disappointed. I was having my gameplay interrupted, and you know, I'm not about that life. So, pardon me. I'm gonna see if I can recreate this issue here. Got my tweezers I'm gonna use to slide the power slider. And see now, right now it's just not powering on at all. There we go. So, you can see I got a green light, and I got a long shadow on the left side and a long shadow on the bottom edge. Now, you notice I'm holding these tweezers here. Once I take them away, it's going to shut off. So, see, now it's saying low battery. I know this battery is not low. It's been on charger for like several hours. So, some days it would be green light, some days red light, sometimes it would just flash for a moment. Of course, now see, there's red light. It's not like we've been using this a ton. And now it's green light. Sometimes it would just like flash red and green and then not turn on, or the screen would just go bloop. But again, I'm not gonna play my Game Boy with tweezers holding my power switch. So let's dive right into that. So, as I mentioned earlier, this has got the headphone jack mod. That's going to be good for my son because, you know, he doesn't own anything Bluetooth yet. But, you know, that may soon change. We'll see. Only the future knows. So, we're going to get this motherboard. Oh, it might help if I pull the battery out. We're going to get this motherboard pulled up. Now, I'm going to be very mindful of these wires here, because there are 4 of them. There's left, right, common, and the speaker mute. So that way when you plug the headphones in, that speaker will go quiet, and you won't annoy everybody with what you're trying to have in your headphones. So, you may also notice here, I've got the Type-C charging mod. This is the basic one from, gosh, I couldn't even remember. I think it's pronounced Osh Park, where I had the PCB made, and I bought that basic Type-C port off of AliExpress. Looks like this. Got my friend Joe to print me a bunch of those. That's the PCB, and we'll do a video about that later if you want. You know, if one person tells me, "Hey, make a video on that," I'll do it. But you know, naturally, I have to find the time for it. Here we go. So, there's my soldering iron. This is Mastercraft, pretty sure, from Canadian Tire. So, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna see if I can zoom in on this. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Okay. So first we gotta get this little plate right here. Gotta get that off first. And you may notice also that I have my new power switch sitting here, and it has, come on hands, line it up with the shot. There we go. It has that metal plate included on it. So, maybe I said it already, but this piece here, inside there, that little black piece, that is it's gonna focus, thank you. That is the piece of this switch that is missing, because I learning, and I was going back and forth and taking it apart, putting it back together, and there's a lot of aspects to a Game Boy Advance SP that need to be taken into consideration when you're going to do that, and I was not taking them into consideration, which is why I had problems. But I'm getting better, and I'm learning, and that's the name of the game, you know. If you're not learning something, you should find a way to make it a learning process. So, here we are. Got my soldering iron all heated up. We're going to just come right in there, get it nice and hot. You may have seen me adding some flux a moment ago. So what that's going to do is that's going to make it a little more cooperative as far as coming up goes. Maybe not cooperative enough. Try it again. Now, I will tell you that these soldering irons get so hot that they melt metal. They'll melt your circuit board. They'll melt your wires. They'll melt everything. So, don't do like me and put your hands down where your soldering iron is, because you're going to burn yourself. I do a lot of things with fire, and I work on cars, and my hands are accommodated to the heat, so I don't really have that issue of getting burned so much, but you might, and I would feel really terrible if you were watching my video thinking that it's okay to touch a soldering iron with your bare hands, like maybe for like a second or two. Let's see how we're doing with the shot. There we go. And we have one side of that up. Excellent. So now what I'm going to do, recenter the shot. I'm going to take these are tweezers that want to stay closed. So when I squeeze them here, they open, and when I let go, they shut. So that's super, super helpful for holding things like this little plate. So now, let's zoom out. Hopefully you guys like my soundtrack in the back. I grew up playing Pokemon. I like Pokemon a lot, as you can tell by my background here. So that's the little plate. We're listening to the Gold, Silver, Crystal original soundtrack. So I'm just going to chuck that over there. And now we can get into the good stuff. So this is the piece that's giving me grief. This is the slidey bit. I pulled this apart and I cleaned it, and I cleaned it again, and I cleaned it with 70% isopropyl alcohol. I cleaned it with 99%, and I just failed to get a victorious result. And in the process of all that, I snapped that little tab right off of the power switch. So if you can tell, there's it's a gold-plated piece of copper right there. And the same thing down here, you got 3 little pads. And the piece that slides contacts those little pads. Now, the reason this doesn't look at all like I've cleaned it is because it's been sitting for months. Like a lot of months. Anyways, all that being said, let's get back to it here. Drop that piece there. I'm going to put some flux onto here. We're going to try real hard to pull up this power switch without ripping any of the pads off of the PCB. So I'm just jumping back and forth between all of these. I may need to switch tweezers. I keep wanting to squeeze these and I'm losing my grip. Maybe I'll just hold the back of it. I'm going to try and get underneath it with the knife. I think that's going to be a little more effective. Okay, this is not as effective as I would hope. Haven't had that much trouble with a switch in a while. Give me just a sec. Okay, I'm back. So here I have a piece of wire with, I mean, this is basic, like 14 gauge wire. It might be 16 gauge. I don't know. Don't really care. It is some scrap. It's something I would have recycled, thrown away, or whatever. You know, that's for you, Mr. Properly Disposed Battery guy from my last video. So happy that you're here to correct the world and everything. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this. I just added some flux to it. I'm going to use this to absorb the solder from that. So, here we go. See, now it's starting to stick to that. Well, looks like I'm starting to melt the old power switch. Let that be a warning to anybody who wants to play with theirs, that it is made out of plastic and it will melt when it gets too hot, so you gotta be careful. This one I don't care about anymore because we had a bad relationship and we're breaking up now. But, you know, if you still care about yours, don't melt it. Because that's not nice. Nobody likes being melted. But after the kind of grief that this switch has put me through, I'm done. I'm done with that. So let's give this a try here. Yep, I got a little gap there now. Oh yeah, it's really melting. But I'd rather melt that than pull up one of the pads off of the circuit board. Because, you know, this is like probably the single most important part of your power system. A lot of people will tell you, you should change fuse EM8 and this one, F1, and what, you know. I already been down all those roads. I tried all that. Didn't get any change, any results, you know, and so I'm just gonna, here we go, the second pad is kind of desoldered. This thing is turning into rubber. There it goes. Hopefully you guys saw all that. I'm not really looking through the camera right now. I'm down on my knee to reach that. You may or may not know this from my last video, but you are coming to you live, pre-recorded probably an hour ago from the top of my deep freezer in my kitchen, because, you know, it's like the best spot that I've got. I've got power here. There's, you know, a lot going on with that. I got everything I need right in my face. So, next we're going to add this. first, I'm going to open it up and pull it out of the bag and drop it on accident. So there it is right there. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my soldering iron and I'm going to take this ball of steel wool. Some people use copper, brass, whatever. I'm using steel wool because I'm trying to do this on a budget. Like, as much of a budget as I haven't spent already. So next, I will take a piece of solder and maybe I'll take a piece of solder. I'm going to figure out where I put it. If you can't tell, I'm not like 150% prepared for this video, but I'm doing it anyways. So, got it. Got a little piece right here. That's going to do. Don't need a lot. You never need a lot. So, this is my flux from, also from AliExpress. Amtech. It's pretty good stuff. Never had an issue with it. Serves me well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take each of these little tabs here and I'm pressing on the plunger to get a tiny, tiny bit of flux to come out. And I'm going to just get some flux on each of these solder tabs. Now, I'm going to hold it with my tweezers. Going to get some solder onto my iron. I'm going to move this away just for safety. So now what that is we're applying a little bit of solder to each of these tabs, and hopefully you can see the color change on the camera there. But that's just going to make it bond a lot easier. It's a lot better this way than just shoving it in there and hoping it solders and has a good connection and all that. Because when you try it like that, it just, you might be successful, you might not. It's really tough to say. Next, I'm gonna clean that up. Clean up the circuit board where I'm gonna solder it down with some 70% isopropyl alcohol on a cotton swab. And here we go. I'm going to apply some flux to each of these pads on the board, because we want everybody to have a nice, clean, and pure connection to the board. So now I've got this, I'm holding it with my tweezers. I'm going to go ahead and that's already pretty much to the tip. Maybe I need to switch that around. It's really important to be comfortable while you're doing stuff like this, because if you're trying to if you are not left-handed at all and you're trying to do something left-handed, you're going to be in trouble. You're going to mess it up. And then afterwards you're going to be like, I should have just used my dominant hand for that. And maybe you are left-handed. Then in that case, use your left hand. I'm somewhat ambidextrous, so I can use both somewhat equally, somewhat. So we have our first two tabs soldered down. We got this end here and the first one there. This is really terrible focus. There we go. That's better. Okay. So I'm just gonna give this a little bit of pressure so that it doesn't lift up after I remove the soldering iron, because that's never fun. To have your work just like leave the chat. There we go, we're doing good so far. We'll get it one more little nudge on this part. And just for argument's sake, we're going to go back down the line and give each of these a little more attention, just a little more attention. There we go. I'm pretty happy with that. So, should be able to see some pretty immediate results. So what we're going to do, we're going to set that in there nice and gently. There it is. And let's see. We're going to need a battery. So let's stick that guy in there. Then we're going to need our ribbon cable installed. Okay, let's see what happens. I'm sure that I already know what's going to happen, but for science, ta-da! There's my tweezers. Let's zoom out. Oh, got a low battery already, I think. There it is. That's looking pretty good. Whoopsie. Oh, that's my overhead lamp. Yep, there it is. Let's see if it has... Nope, it does not have that function. So I guess this must be a 001 board. I had like, I think 5 or 6 of these. I think it's only the late model AGS 101 that has the function where you can turn it on and then you press start and select and A and B at the same time, and it will restart. They call it a soft reset. At least that's what I'm told. But yeah, this one doesn't seem to have that. But that's okay. It's for my kid. I don't think he's going to lose any sleep over it. So next, I want to test it in the shell with the power button. Okay. Well, the good news is I don't need the tweezers to keep it on. But yeah, you can see really clearly that line that was bothering me. And you can see that there is no line on that side. A tiny, tiny bit of a line on top, but not as much as there is on bottom. So that makes me happy. Progress. Let's see. What's next? I suppose the next thing we're going to want to do is solder that wire for the brightness adjuster. So I'm going to disconnect this ribbon cable from that board. I'm going to flip this over, take that battery out. So, take a look here. Right center screen there. We have, let's see if we can change the color of the light here. That works for me. It's a little grainy from being zoomed in all the way, but what can you do? So right here we have Q12B, Quincy 12 Bravo. Now a lot of people like to say, oh, it's Q12, Q128. No, it's not. So take a look here with me. Q12B. If you look over here, sorry about that. Q12B. If you look over here, you have C48. That is a Nintendo 8. It's very round on the left side. Over here, this thing is square on the left side, so that is a B. I don't know why people want to argue and say it's an 8. It's not. But that's the point that we need to solder this wire right here, this green guy. Yep. We're going surfing. Oops. Wow, there's a lot of adjustments on this. Okay. Just like before, we're going to begin this solder job with some flux. I'm going to just bring that right on into the point that we want soldered. I'm going to grab my tiny scrap of solder and bring my soldering iron over here. We're going to tin up that tip. And what I just did there, that's actually really bad practice. I soldered this up over the motherboard. Terrible idea. Don't do that. I don't know why I did that. And I really know better than that. Here we go. That's it. Now it's no longer gold. It is kind of silver tin color. What do you think of that? Just give it a little more love. Make sure you guys can see what I'm doing here. So that is very well tinned. And you notice I didn't get tin on anything else, just that spot. So next I'm going to clean that up with some alcohol because I try to keep the flux under control. Later on I'm going to go back underneath and clean up the flux off of the backside of the motherboard. I just really wanted to get that tested and out of the way. So next we're going to take this wire here. Oh, there's a wild Pokemon. That's better than nothing. I'm going to clean that off. Okay. Now, going to add some more flux here. Oh, I'm not on the screen. Okay, there we go. That's better. Holding that, we're going to bring that down to the pad. I missed. Okay. That is now connected. Let's see how it looks on camera. Well, admittedly, I'm not super proud of that, but it will work. Let's test it. Wow, I've been on here for 37 minutes already. I need to learn to shut up and just do my job. Here we go. Zoom out. Oh, it might help if I have a battery in there. Let's try this battery. I think this might be the one that has a better charge. Let's see if you can tell that the brightness is changing. No bones. Let's try again. I'm gonna bring this in this side. Give it another try. Now this it might never work. You never know. Let's find out. Let's try it with a game in. What about the touchpad? Well, the touchpad works, but the button doesn't work. That is very strange. Well, may have to troubleshoot that in another day. But for now, I'm going to cut this video short. And I'm going to call it a day. 40 minutes is enough for me. So let's see how this sounds with the speaker. Maybe if I turn the volume up. There's our black and white color palette. Yep. That's what we got. Thanks for watching, everybody. I might do another short one here in a little bit of this thing being all put together. Thanks for watching. Tune in next time. Welcome back. I have decided to make a part 2 of this video. So earlier today, you watched me pull this broken piece of junk power switch out of this Game Boy Advance SP. I did a pretty good number on it, melted it up pretty good, but I got it out without ruining anything. Except for, you know, the already ruined power switch. So, I just soldered up this wire to that key there. And, unfortunately, it has no brightness adjustment from the brightness adjuster button. It's supposed to work. It's soldered well. I even have my multimeter here. So that's going to tell us when it's going to go beep when it has connection. So first thing we do is test it. Test the tester. So with nothing blocking it, it should get 0.4, 0.3 ohms of resistance. And here and there, yeah, when I don't slip off, it's giving me 0.3, 0.2. We have good connection between that point and that point. So either something in this ribbon cable or that button itself are to blame. Either way, not much I can do at this point. I suppose I could spend some time trying to diagnose it, but in the name of keeping the videos shorter, which I've yet to succeed at, I'm just gonna make a quick one about reassembling this. So we're gonna start with taking this off. I'm gonna roll that up there, unplug that. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my clamshell here. I'm gonna make sure I've got all my buttons and membranes, and I use that screwdriver bit to twist this guy around. We'll set that in there. Always make sure that you pull out broken chunks of other stuff, because that can really cause problems for your moving parts. So, next we're gonna grab that membrane there, stick it here. We're gonna grab the ribbon cable, and first I gotta take off that screw. So we're taking this screw off because that holds this piece here on the other side, and that makes it so that we can feed that cable through. I'll try from this angle. Get my touchpad through first. I may be out of luck on getting that to pass through. I don't think I want to break it. So, in the name of not breaking anything, I'm going to unsolder this. And I may as well just remove that since the circuit's no good. I may, in the future, replace this. Maybe replace the cable again. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll get there. One day at a time. So now that I have that off, I want to make sure that's real flat so that it will pass through. Gotta love the ice cave theme there. So now, whoops. That's in there. Get this here. And I need to put that cover back on there. So we're gonna get our nice little swirl wrap going here. I know all my buttons are gonna fall off on the bottom. I already know. So I'm going to set that there, just like that. I'm going to flip this back over and hold it in place. I'm going to grab my Phillips screwdriver bit. And you know, I have this fancy handle, magnetic piece inside. Just use it. Use it, man. Okay, pretty happy with that. And get my brightness adjuster that doesn't work. Okay, that's not terrible. Now, I'm gonna pull that out. I'm gonna pull this out. Now, I have my ribbon cable coming through, and you know, just to not hurt that, I'm gonna go ahead and plug it in. Make sure it's well seated all the way inside. And now, I'm gonna lay that down like this. And I'll get my Pikachu cover. I'm gonna fold that over. I have this heat pad touch sensor here. I'm just gonna fold it over like this so that it's gonna be on the top, or you know, right there. Now I will take, I had a rubber band, nice little elastic right here, and it went bye-bye. Oh, it's over here. I'm gonna take this rubber band, I'm gonna open that up, hold it nice and tight together. Not too tight though, you don't want to crack anything. Yeah, that's good. So now I can flip this over upside down, pull the bottom cover off. We have 3 screws, 1, 2, and 3. Short Phillips head screws that we're gonna stick in there. And we will use those screws to secure the motherboard to the shell. Now, if you have a brand new aftermarket shell and you want it to continue to look nice and brand new, do not over tighten these screws. Less is more, really, truly. Oh, and you know what else I forgot? I forgot to put the speaker in. I can see my yellow felt. Now you see this right here, this moment right here is part of what led up to me breaking my power switch. So if you, like myself, do not appreciate having broken parts and things in your Game Boys, take it slow. Pay close attention. Make sure you're getting everything installed. And I really don't like those points on the speaker. Hey, guess what? It's a magnet. Okay, double check all my button pads. Okay, we're good. Now that is there, in place. Now I can actually install the screws. I'm going to start from the center and work my way outward. So I'm working with this little screwdriver kit made by a company called Anvil. I bought this at Home Depot. It's 22 bucks Canadian, and it's really nice. So far, it's taking good care of me as long as I've taken good care of it. No complaints from me. Now, one thing you may notice is right here, there's a little square, and that is for this. Let's just set it there. Now, if you leave that square out, your battery, well, your battery cover will always come off. It will come off at inconvenient times. It will come off when you least expect it, when you least want it, all those things. It's going to come off and it's going to inconvenience you. So you need to make sure that you have this guy well in there. I said in there. In there. inside the hole. Please go in there. I would appreciate it if you would cooperate. Still not cooperating. There we go, that's some cooperation. It may or may not have been coerced cooperation, but I'll take what I can get. Next, we can bring this back together. Now, let me just do a stupid check before I get too far ahead of myself. We got all our buttons. So far, so good. Okay. I'm just gonna stick this in here. It's gonna help everything stay together. Now, the next part is for your tri-wing screws. Those first three that I installed were Phillips. Now we need the tri-wing screws. You may know this. It's three. It's like a Phillips, but instead of having four, it's got three. Imagine that. There's one right there. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna install that screw right there. Now again, you do not want to go crazy on over tightening these. I did, and I kind of screwed up my shell a little bit. Not this one. You can't really see it on this one, but on my other one that I play all the time, got little bumps. There's a bump right there. Now all this stuff, it's from learning. You know, we don't start out knowing everything that there is to know as soon as we're born. It's ridiculous. Nobody's like that. Nobody knows everything right off the get-go. Now, this here, it's tough to... let's get some tweezers. Now you may see that it looks dirty, it looks blackened. What it actually is some Sharpie. I colored this one with a Sharpie so that I would know that it is not the shorter one, because it's a very minuscule difference. This screw right here is just a tiny bit shorter than this one, and what this one is, it's your tri-wing screw that goes under the battery, kind of by the edge of the battery. So, back it out and get it right into the thread. There we go. That's good. Now we can install our battery, and we can put our battery cover on. And that guy's a Phillips, so I'll just grab this here. And remember that square we installed earlier? Now that's given this thing some threads to go into. So now when we do that, guess what? Battery stays. So that's what that's all about. Next we have four of our four longest tri-wing screws. So they look like this. Three wings on them, hence the name tri-wing. So we're going to get one right here in this corner. I'm just going to get it in there to start. It's my container of hardware. Now I'm gonna go opposite corner. I have a screw in there, and it's not tight at all yet, but it will be. So before I get too far ahead of myself, listen for the click. I don't know if you heard it or not, but there was a click. Maybe it's more of a feel than anything else. Oh, that's right. I almost forgot. So this one, because I did that headphone jack mod, I have to undo those. Again, with the SP and getting ahead of yourself, you gotta take your time. Nobody's gonna take your time for you. I mean, I'm sure they will. I'm sure there's somebody who would love to use up all of your time, but it ain't me. Maybe it is. Who knows? So now I'm gonna back myself up. Back it up. Back it up. Uh-oh. That's not my favorite thing that's ever happened. This could happen to you, so be careful. Okay, so for this part here, you may notice that there's like just blackness there where the screw hole should be, and that is because there's no screw post. You look on this side, there's a screw post. This one is almost flush with the circuit board. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shove some super glue inside there, and then I'm going to stretch this elastic around the whole SP, and I'm going to let it cure while I reassemble the rest of this. Be right back. This is Gorilla Glue Super Glue Gel. Works pretty good for plastics. I've had a lot of good luck with it. I've repaired like 1 million of my son's toys with this thing. It's almost empty. That right there is a testament to its quality, in my opinion. I'm gonna go ahead and step out on a limb and say that I'm probably never gonna open this again. Probably. There we go. Take a look inside. You can see that I've got a good amount of glue on there. So now, while holding everything together with one hand, take that elastic, bring it around. I'm gonna even double it up right there. Ooh, Magnet Train theme song. Okay, that's that. Don't forget to put the glue or the lid back onto your glue, because that'll make it useless if you forget. And just let it fly wherever it ends up. It's not important. Okay, there's the black Sharpie colored one. Oops. Well, seems like it's not quite lined up or something. There we go. Whoops! I kind of saw that coming. Well, as they say, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. I'm not sure if this is actually, like, necessarily the most appropriate time to use that phrase, but maybe it is. Maybe it's the single most appropriate time. I'm not really sure how long I've been not recording, but welcome to part 3, apparently. So, in part 2, I'm not sure how much of it actually ended up on camera, but I assembled this. I missed a piece. I took it apart, put it back together. Now I'm talking about this. What I was just starting to say is that you gotta back these screws out until you feel them click, and then you can drive them in. And the reason for that is so that you get good thread alignment. If you cross thread one of these screws, it's plastic that you're going into, and the plastic will lose every time. It'll just split and crack. And maybe you only spent $10 on your shell. Maybe you spent like 40 or 50 bucks on it. I don't know. Maybe you have like, what is that? Boxy Pixel. Maybe you got one of them. Now you got a cracked piece of aluminum, and nobody likes that. So be smart about installing your screws, because they're not going to say, hey, that hurts, I'm going to break. They're just going to break. So be careful. Be wise, be smart, be prudent when necessary. And everything's going to be great for you, I'm sure. If I can have this much fun building my old Game Boy for my son, then I'm sure you can have a great time with yours just as well. Some fuzz on there to get that off. Okay, I think he's gonna love this. He's gonna have a really wonderful Christmas this year. Already got a lot of good presents picked out for him. Oh yeah, battery. Haha. Uh-oh. I think my time is about up. Someone's knocking. Fire that in. And power. Yep, needs a charge. Okay, well, thanks everybody for your time. I look forward to seeing you on the next one. That's Game Boy Advance SP, IPS, installation, knock at the door. Anyway, this has been Beastie Mods. Thanks for your time. Come and see me next time.